What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. So recently I made a video about Ashes of Creation where I talked about everything I've tested so far, and I gave some feedback on my testing and the game itself, and also just made a video talking about the game itself. So today we are looking at a couple of things that I'm not so pleased about, or things I think they should change, and maybe they're even planning to change this as well, because you have to remember that Ashes is currently in Alpha 1, and it's a developmental alpha, so they might already be thinking about these things, and this is something they might come out with in Alpha 2, or Beta 1 and Beta 2, because I'm really just nitpicking here, but there are a couple of different things they can do and different ways they can go. So what I'm talking about is professions, and the way it is right now in Ashes in Alpha 1 is that everyone can do everything. There's no cap on how many professions you can have, and you can do everything. The only thing you need is tools. So in order to actually gather herbs, you need to have a tool to gather those herbs, and for mining you need a pickaxe, and for chopping down trees you need a regular axe. So you just need the tools that are associated with that profession. So what I want to talk about today is that profession system. So professions are lacking skill points. You can do everything, there's no real skill points in the game or no profession points, so this kind of incentivizes that you can push to max level, don't care about professions at all, and then only start caring about it at max level, because you don't have any specific skill requirements to gather those professions or to gather those materials, right? So you can just go to a max level zone and gather max level gatherables from max level zones. Now the way I've heard professions will be working in Ashes is that gatherables or gatherable materials from a lower level zone will still be used in crafting later on as well. So it shouldn't really matter that much when you think about it economically, but the thing here is that having profession skills in a game creates goals for players to achieve. Like for me personally, when I played, for example, Arcade has had a very good profession system, and going to max skill would take you about a month. Now, I don't think professions should be time gated in that way, but I don't think it should be as fast as WoW either. So I want to have like a goal that I can chase within those professions. So gatherable materials in starter zones should be just as valuable as gatherable materials in higher level zones, because the crafts should use materials from lower tiers. And while we're talking about crafting, let's talk about the crafting system as well super fast. So the crafting system is way too simple. The way it works right now is that you can just go out and gather the materials that you need. You can basically buy an axe, chop down a tree, go to a carpenter, and you can craft it right at the carpenter. You don't need any certain skill points, you don't need the profession. There's basically no professions. You just need to buy the tools to gather the things. Then you have to go to a place where you can use those things and craft them into something. So for example, if you go and mine some ores, you want to turn those into bars, you go to a furnace and you melt them. You can also go to a blacksmith, you can buy stuff. You just go to a furnace, you melt them into bars, you go to an anvil, you make them into armor or weapons. When it comes to wood, you can just go and chop down a tree, you can take that over to a carpenter, or to like a carpenter table, and you can just chop it into stuff that you're planning to use it for. When it comes to herbs, you can just go out, you can buy the thing that you need to gather the herbs, you can then gather the herbs, come back, find an alchemy table, and just craft it into something. And there's no real process going into that, you just craft it with the alchemy table in the crafting section that I'm showing you on the screen right now, so you can see how simple it is right now. There's no real requirements other than going out and grabbing the stuff and then crafting it. Now this might be intentional, or it might just be that they haven't implemented the profession system fully just yet, and this is a really early alpha version. Or it could also be that they are going for more of that open world MMO feeling where everyone can in fact do everything, and you can just go outside, you can grab those things, you can come back and craft them into something. It makes sense if you want it to be like a more realistic, open world MMORPG, but also I feel like having those professional skill points makes the game better. So personally, I want a more in-depth crafting system and profession system in general, and this just seems way too easy. Now the reason I want to bring this up is that it might actually be intentional, because there are no real professions in the game right now. There's no profession trainers, there's no professions, and like no actual professions. You just buy the tools, and the fact that you have those tools kind of indicates that that's how it's going to work, or it could just be an early version of the system itself. Either way, I think it's important to give this feedback now, so if more people feel the way I feel, and you want a more in-depth crafting system instead of a very simple one, then you can give that feedback, and hopefully they will listen to the feedback. Now I might be in the minority here, and maybe you guys love this easy crafting system, or yeah, that the crafting system is simple, so if I'm in the wrong, just let me know in the comments, that way I know. Personally, I just want a in-depth and more advanced crafting system especially, so you can craft legendaries or craft rares and so on. There's basically very many different ways they can do this. You can have like a WoW style professional system with capped amounts of professions. So in World of Warcraft you can only have 2 professions, or 2 primary professions, so you can have leatherworking and blacksmithing, and you can also have cooking, fishing, and first aid. Those are like tertiary professions that you can have on the side. You can also have an arcade style talent point or professional skill point system where everyone can skill up everything, but you can only master a certain amount. That would basically be the same as in World of Warcraft. You could grab every profession, skill all of them to 150, but you can only pick 2 or 3 to go all the way to max skill. That's basically how it worked in Arcane, so everyone can do everything, but you can only be a master of a couple of professions that you carefully choose. So yeah, once again, even though I know it's Alpha 1 and it's early development, I think it's important to talk about these things, and professions is something that I really enjoy in every game, and like in MMORPGs in general, I love professions, so getting professions right is a major thing for me personally. So either I'm looking at it wrong or it's just early development. Either way, I wanted to give the feedback. Let me know in the comments down below what you feel about this, and also let me know if you're looking forward to Ashes of Creation. That is pretty much it though. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more content, and yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.